Hello everyone. If you want to go to my free course, type henry-ward.co.uk into Google, then go to Henry Ward Trading, and then this here is my free course. Click on Start Today. If you want to go on to the webinars that I do every Sunday and every Wednesday, click on Trading Academy and then click on Start Today. So this is the Trading Academy. This is the full training, the webinars, direct access to me, everything that you want. We've had a funny old market over the last couple of days, haven't we? We've had massive GBP weakness. Now, there's a couple of reasons for the GBP weakness that we've had, and some people may have seen this, some people may have not. Okay, so here are a couple of the reasons. Inflation. Okay, that's one of the first ones. Okay, second one is that the trading export and import has dropped. Okay, which means then the strength of GBP is not as strong anymore. So the goods from external is now starting to get more expensive. Also the interest rates are not, everyone's not as confident in GBP as they once were. It's one of these things that it comes and goes. It's one of these things that we have to sort of keep an eye on. And trading, what we do is, as traders, we jump on what's working and what's not working. And at the minute, we have US dollar strength. Now, why US dollar is so strong is because, one, the interest rate hikes that they are doing in the likes of the US is far greater than any of the interest rates are in Europe. That's first. And then secondly, their jobs data has been consistently good, which means it's given the US economy massive strength. Whereas the UK one, it's not. UK has been sort of laboured. There's like 40% of energy coming into the UK is from Russia, which means then we're paying a high volume for it. Okay, so there's a couple of other little things as well on top of that. So that's all added to a little bit of GBP weakness. But even so, with the likes of that, we do have opportunities. Now, we talked about this one a couple of weeks ago, hitting its ceiling up here 1, 2, 3, 4 times and then dropping. We took this trade here inside, stop loss above this high, and went down. Now, at that particular time, we were looking for it to hit somewhere around there, but I wanted to take profit inside here. So we had to manage this trade accordingly. So it was either going to bounce there or back down on this one. And as we saw here, it continued dropping and just dropped and dropped and dropped. Now, yesterday, then we had a big, huge bar and it's come down to this area. Look at this level with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th touch. And look, we had an instant rejection on this level. Now, this is one of the things that I want to talk to people about is horizontal levels. We talk about trend, we talk about cyclicity, we talk about stuff like that there, but traders put orders at levels. What they do is they put huge orders at levels. And look at this one, see the momentum coming down. And all of a sudden, the minute it hits this level, it instantly changes. Now, that could be one of two things, is that if you have a savvy trader, look, your take profit should have been inside there at the 149 level, somewhere around that, or 150 level, anywhere around the 150 to say the 149.50. Okay, so anywhere between those 50 pips, your take profit should have been. Look, it went down a little bit further and actually hit the 149 level. So we got away with it. Anyone who had an order at this level, you would have been triggered in. It went down slightly below, about 50 pips, which would have covered a spread on any platform on the likes of this currency. And then look, it immediately turned around. And we look at, say, the 4 hour, look, we had this massive sell-off, and then instantly we had buying power take over. And this is the beauty of trading, is that these horizontal levels are absolutely key. And I've said it from day one with you guys, and it just reiterates itself over and over and over again, that we need to be looking at sort of these levels. And if on your chart you can put levels in correctly, if you can put the right sort of things in, then absolutely you can see these trades that happen. Now, the problem with the likes of this, for you to take this, you'd have had to put a limit order in, and also you would have had to be really confident in your levels here. Really confident. Anyone who took this on a 4 hour trade, yes, there is a trade there as a long, entry above that bar, stop loss below it, and there was a 1-to-1 trade on it there. Now, would I be looking for this to go back any further than a 1-to-1? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, we've got back into that support and resistance there, but I would expect this to sort of come back up into that level there, hit that ceiling, and then at that particular point, I'd expect that to start going down again. I'd expect that to start going down at that particular point. Once it hits that ceiling up here, I'd expect it to go again. But the problem is the government now going to get in? Do traders think that GBP is now weak enough, and they're now see it as a really good buy? And they're sort of all the things that we sort of need to be looking at. Now, anyone who's been on the webinars, we've had some really, really good trades on GBP. So one of them was GBPCAD here. Come back to that horizontal level, into that area of the trend line. Again, it's not perfect, but we did have this trade 1, then this one here 2, then this one here 3. Okay. Now, yes, this may have broken your rules, and you will say, well, Henry, technically this is a higher high, but for me, this is all part of the same phase 2. Stop loss above it, entry here. I went down very, very quickly to a 3-to-1. And if you had a trail your stop, this went on to a 6.6-to-1. So well done, anyone who took that. Now, again, we need to start looking at levels out here. We start to need looking at why did that reject here. So going to the weekly chart and zooming out. Need to go back to the monthly chart now. And on this particular broker, I don't see any sort of data there to suggest why this has come back. So I'm going to get a horizontal level here and pop it in. Okay, go back down to the weekly chart or the daily chart. There's nothing on this particular charting software to tell me why it rejected down this here in this particular area. I would imagine it's been a level before and then turned around. GBPCHF. Now, unfortunately, this didn't give us a proper setup, but look, we were looking for this to come back. It came back, it hit this ceiling and then dropped, but it didn't give us a good setup. It didn't give us a tradable setup. So in this particular one, we would have missed it. GBPNZD, similarly, this one here was trending sideways. It's not something I would have been looking at. This was an actual upward trend here. GBP was getting stronger till we had this rejection. So GBPNZD wasn't something I was looking at. But if you look at here, GBP Aussie, look, 1, 2, 3, came back and retested. Now, again, we talked about this being a higher high. Absolutely, yes, it is. Okay, but it's come back here into a key level. We also have this trend line, 1 touch, 2 touches, 3, 4 touches. So we have a horizontal and the trend line here. And look, this went down to a 6.5-to-1. So again, well done, anyone who took that. And these are the kind of opportunities. This is where, how many people will tell you, oh, you got lucky? But why do the same people tend to get lucky all the time? There's no luck when we're looking at the likes of this. This is when preparation meets opportunity. The preparation is here to give us the opportunity. Was it the perfect setup? No, it wasn't the perfect setup. But did it give us a really nice horizontal level? Yes, it did. And then look what happened. It just took off. And the same with GBPCAD. Now, GBPJPY, that's a different story. This one here, only some of you guys would have taken that because I know you guys are a lot of trend-based traders, but there's a couple of you guys that would have taken this one. Really good trade. Now, whether you would have taken this one is a different matter because it happened so quickly. You'd have to be watching it. And as it's a big, huge red bar coming down here, I'm not sure it would have been sort of, what would I call it? One of the most, what's the word I'm trying to do? The best type of trades to be taken. I meant a massive GBP selling, and then it hit this ceiling, hit this floor. I wouldn't have expected that much buying power at that particular point. But again, look, it just hits those levels and respects it. On to silver. Again, we were looking at silver here. Stop loss entry again. It was a big old entry. It's now come back down here, and we'll keep an eye on this one for a second before we make a decision on this, because this went down to a 1-to-1. We're probably about 0.5% up on this trade at the present moment. So we'll come back to this now in a second. Gold looks like it still has more downward pressure. Now we have sort of come into that area. Let me see what's over here historically on that level. So we've one touch there, two touches, three. So we've come back into that area. So we have a little bit of a sort of a level there. Question is, will it come back or will it continue going? And we're having a lot of dollar or gold weakness at the moment. So going back here, we would expect this to continue dropping if gold continues to drop. But more importantly, we need to look at the dollar index. And if we're looking at the dollar index here, does that look like it's gonna drop? It looks like it's going to continue going. It looks like it's going to continue going. So, but the question is would I be looking to take this trade here now if to keep going? Absolutely not. We're massively overextended. It's not something we're looking at. For me, no, do not take this. This is not something we're looking at, which means then if I go back to silver, I would probably move my stop loss inside break even, which means then I'm at net zero, which means I can't lose on this particular trade. So that would be the sort of thing I'll be looking at this, where it's a win-win situation for me. And if it's a win-win situation for me, then that's where I want to be with my trading. So that's where I want to be with my trading. Having a quick look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq has now come down to a double bottom here. And we had a little bit of buying power here so far already on the futures market. Am I going to trust that? Absolutely not. But again, we have come back down to a double bottom here. Same with the S&P. Look, double bottom with buying power here on the indices. Down to the Dow. Yes, the Dow has made a lower low. Okay, but again, we've now had it looks like it's slightly taken out the high. And that's just a futures market. So once the futures market is this bullish, I'd sort of expect the market open to continue. But let's have a quick look at the big five. Okay, so look, this is gapped up £3. This one also has gapped up £2. Gapped up £2. This is gapped up £1. This is gapped up £2 again. £4. Tesla's gone up 6 quid. So it looks like we're going to have a bullish day today on the market. This one's up 1 quid. Quid again. And this one, 1. So it looks like the open is going to be good. Now, would I be jumping in and trading that this seconds? Probably not. But it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a bounce here on the likes of this. It looks like this is going to continue going up. And to what ends, I have no idea. But it looks a little bit bullish on this at this present moment. So it's good to see. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, everyone. I'm gonna quickly go over European indices. So we've had a lower low on the likes of Germany. It's come back up, hit its head here, and look, we've had this little bit of a sell-off here, a little bit already of selling power there. It'll be interesting to see, because if the US market opens up, you'd expect the European to continue going. CAC has had a little pop to the upside. UK 100 is at sort of a decent enough area, but the problem is it hasn't respected these levels. It's sort of broken. We have a zone going on there rather than a level, so it's not something I'm sort of comfortable trading. China 50, we wanted it to come down a fraction lower, but we've had 2 buying days so far, so let that play itself out. And look, the Aussie 200, we're back down at this double bottom. So we're probably going to have a little pop to the upside. So I'd like to see that popping up to here, and then we could have a short on it. Oil, look, we've had more to the downside on oil. We need a little pop up here, and then if it comes back up to this area, then we can potentially take a short. But again, these little sort of areas, these trends, these momentums are really small. And then last but not least, natural gas. But wanted natural gas to come down to this level. So 1, 2, 3. This will be the 4th touch. Even though we've had a little bit of a bullish day today, I would be much happier if this come down to this area. And then I'll be looking to take a long up to here. And then I'll be out of the trade at that particular moment. But look, everyone, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Hope you have a lovely evening. I will speak to you all on Wednesday.